Take 3.
Today's June 4th, and today we're talking about the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. I'm not redoing this again, I swear. How's it going, everybody? This is Isaiah Martinez. Welcome to The Deep End. If you guys haven't already followed us, you can go on thedeependpod.com. You can follow us on any one of our social medias, or you can also go on the new shop. So we have the new shop available where you can find the Deep End merch. I have one of our sweaters. Let's see if I can show it for those who are watching on YouTube. Very excited about it. It's our new shop. It has the Deep End logo on there. We also have the shirt and women's. We have it in men's, any size. So very excited about it. Pretty cool. Designed by myself, so check it out when you guys can. Today is a very special episode. We have two amazing guests that are on the podcast that are podcasters themselves. And they are very dynamic. They are funny. They are smart, very interesting. And talking about a lot of the things that, that we find, I think, sometimes trivial, and they expound on it. They go deep into it. And so I'm very excited to have on the podcast today my friend Oscar and Jess.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, guys. What's up?
Awesome. So thank you guys for making the time to be here. It helps me out. Like I told you earlier, it's super hard doing it by myself, and having you guys on here, I know it's going to be a slam dunk. So appreciate you guys very much.
Yeah, no, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate the opportunity to come out. It's actually our first podcast that we've been invited to. And, well, not the first one, right? It's just the one we actually showed up to.
Oh, I'm honored.
Yeah.
That you guys at least showed up to this one.
Well, no, we signed up for another one, but I don't think we've heard back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's kind of what it is.
All right.
So, yeah, you popped our cherry. Thanks, man.
Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about the Amber Heard and Depp trial. I asked you before we started the show if you guys have been following it at all. So I guess I'll start off with you, Jess. Have you been following the Amber Heard Depp trial?
I've followed it, but not like every day, all day. But I would tune in like on a daily once I realized it was on. And I would hear, like I was sitting at work and I would like tune in, but then they would lose me a lot of the times and I would be like, okay, I'll tune in tomorrow.
Yeah.
But then when, of course, like the verdict day, I was like, okay, I need to tune in because I was so curious to know what the verdict would be. But I mean, bits and pieces of it, yeah.
You, Oscar?
I saw clips of it on the internet.
Yeah.
But other than that, didn't follow it too much. I only got interested in it because Johnny Depp was removed from the Fantastic Beasts series, and I was wondering why.
Oh, so you were actually following that series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then when he wasn't on there, when they released the preview or the preview,
trailer,
right? The trailer. Yeah. I was like, that's not Johnny Depp, so I started looking into it, and then like, oh, he's being sued, and he's currently being removed out of all of his projects.
Did you guys follow the UK trial at all? Did you guys?
No.
I had no idea about it.
I feel like we never got, no one ever really heard about it.
Yeah.
They didn't really, because, the media only puts out what they want us to see, but I never even knew that they had a trial in UK.
Yeah, I just found out about it yesterday when I was preparing to come.
Yeah.
They're like, the UK trial. And I was like, what is that? What happened there?
Yeah, I haven't been following it either. I do think it is an interesting time or a cultural moment that we're in that this happens to fall right in place of. Like, for example, I was telling you guys before the show, just months ago we had Will Smith slap Chris Rock at the Oscars because his wife couldn't take a joke. And then this year we had Kanye West drop a single called Easy, depicting himself burying his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian's new boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right. So we had these cases of these men who seem to be like going off the rails or going crazy. Right.
Yep.
And there's something deep down too at the same time where you can't help but wonder, like, did Kim Kardashian or Jada Pinkett Smith have something to do with this,
Oh, they for sure did.
But then then enters like Amber Heard, right?
Yeah.
We have Amber Heard who comes on the scene. And it's one thing, I think, to drive your partner like crazy or go off the rails, but like it's a total nother beast when you come up with false accusations. I can't say, but alleged false accusations of, your partner committing domestic abuse. That's a whole nother thing. And I think Amber Heard has somehow carved a lane of her own, or she's maybe her own different breed. I don't know. But, and for Johnny, I know he's not innocent. I know he has some faults too.
Right.
I agree.
But I think the thing I like about Johnny, though, is at least he's admitting to that, or he's taking ownership of the things that he knows was bad. Yeah. Whereas, Amber does, she takes no accountability, comes off disingenuous. She laughs when being asked about the fecal matter.
Right.
Yeah.
She's changed up her stories more times than the Aquaman writers. Right? Like,
Yeah.
She's changed it up.
Yeah.
So there's something about that. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like they were both in a very toxic relationship, but I feel like she was definitely the aggressor.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, as a man, and you guys, it's different. Like for a man to come up and be like, "Oh, she hit me," like it's not very common
Right, yeah.
for anybody to do that. But I mean, his whole life changed and things were taken away from him. Like you just mentioned that you started following one of, I mean, if I was wearing a hat, I would tip it off to him. Like, good for you. You did what a lot of men are fearful of doing. And I'm a woman myself. And, but again, we live in different times where, hey, women can be the aggressors too. And a lot of times it is like that. But men, because it's like, oh, really? You're a little bitch because, you're over there complaining that your girl's hitting you or whatever. But I mean, in reality, it's the same way. But again, we live in a time where if you're a male and you hit a female, like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
But it should work both ways. It shouldn't be only like something that should be taken lightly just because it's vice versa. It should be taken the same way because again, we live in a time where, I mean, again, being a woman, like why should, our stories be taken, more serious than yours when it's the same thing?
True.
Yeah, I just feel like how Jess mentioned that, a lot of men don't come out and say that, but I also feel like it's not due to that they don't want to come out. It's just there's no reason to come out because why would you do that in the first place if there's really no resolvement to that? I think in Johnny Depp's situation, the only reason why he even came out is because he did lose so much.
Yeah,
and at
like
that
he
point,
had to.
Yeah, at that point he had to say something.
It was like, I have to. If not, like, I'm done for. Even though he already got a lot taken away from him, but I feel like this was his last opportunity to kind of like, it was do or die.
Yeah, it's to clear his name up for sure.
Yeah, so whether she would have won, this is what I think personally, like, it was either way. Like, before the verdict, I said, seriously, if she wins, like, this is something that was being watched worldwide. So if she wins, now you guys are
We're
like,
fucked.
Yeah, like we're basically like telling people you can go and you can lie and you're going to get away with it because you're a woman and people are going to believe you.
Damn.
That's what I personally thought.
Bruh.
And it was being watched worldwide, like not just California, not just US, like this was a worldwide thing. So, I mean, again, I don't think Johnny was innocent. Like you say, he had his faults and it takes two to tango. But in their case, I feel like and also because she lied so much. Like as a victim, when you're like, you don't sit there and lie or say stuff like nonchalantly.
Yeah. Did you guys catch how she was using pledge and donate synonymously?
Yeah.
Yes.
All while she was out here saying she already donated
Right.
it, like she didn't want any of it.
Yes.
Right.
I think there's something about that gives you the feeling that like she's faking this.
Yeah,
like,
everything
that's
like
not real.
Like if you
she's
can lie
lying.
about something like that,
Yeah.
I mean, you're lying. Like she got caught so many times lying. Like just being untrue. So again, it was one of those things. Like if they were to say like if she won, oh my god, that would have caused like so much chaos. It would have been like crazy. I think.
That's true.
I think this is like the first time I've seen a court case where the defendant speaks directly to the jury.
Yeah.
Like, like she would be asked a question, then she would turn
over
and then look at the jury and like say something, and then she'd come back.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Yeah, like it just me too. I would watch it and be like, dude, why are you like doing that? But
Obviously,
again,
it's tactics to try to win the jury.
Somebody coached her, right, and told her like you should do that. But to me personally, it was ridiculous. Like you look straight at the person you're talking to, because if you have like if I'm saying the truth, I don't mind looking at you right in the face.
Right.
But if I'm lying, I don't have enough courage to look at you in the face. So
I believed her character more in Aquaman than I did her character at the jury.
Damn.
It just seemed so bad. Like she was forcing.
Well, like even when she was crying, she wasn't really. There was no tears
like fake crying.
rendered.
Yeah.
There was no like real tears. You
Yeah.
know. And then all the way to the point where I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a moment where she's like, sniffing or wiping her nose, and then she pauses for the camera while it like illuminates her face, like a flash illuminates her face. And it's just one of those moments that could have went unnoticed in a like on the normal circumstance, except that there's nothing in this trial that's normal, right?
Right.
It's really kind of a circus, from it being live streamed with like 50 million people watching it to to Johnny Depp fans coming out of the woodworks trying to steer the narratives on social media.
Yeah.
To just the sheer power of the Me Too movements, saying believe women. So you got all this kind of coming out, over this, and so it's being all magnified. I think every little detail. Which is interesting to see. Like people pick up all these small little details, from her not shedding any tears to just even the bee remark to like all these weird things that her story doesn't seem to match up.
Right.
Or did you see the one where I think they were going on like a lunch break or something, and she had a water bottle, and then somebody from her team came and she like grabbed another water bottle, and then she was gonna take a sip, and then the cop was like, and then she like throws it in her pocket.
Yeah.
Like, what is that even all about?
What's
And it
that
could have
about?
been innocent. It could have been like just.
But she looks sketch.
Exactly.
I didn't
So that's
see that
what.
one.
Yeah. So a
Or-
lot of these things, like people were catching on, like people were dissecting this to like the T.
Yes.
Everybody was catching like
Everything.
every little
Right.
thing, or like how he said about the tissue. It's like she was waiting for like the media to like take the photo. Like it was like a pose almost, and then she'd like put the tissue down. Like if she was like, why? Like
It was almost like we were watching this like almost like a spectator sport almost.
Yes.
And it's like whether or not you believe Amber Heard or whether she was posing for the camera or whether we're looking too deep into it, whatever it is, like still, that moment will always be freeze framed for life. Like it's internet real at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
And once it's internet real, it's real now.
Right.
And that's the thing I feel like is, we've taken this circus and now we're dissecting every little thing. So I think that's powerful. I think that's really unique.
I think I would find it hard to believe to hear somebody say that Amber Heard was not lying.
but I mean, there is people out there
There's
that
some people, yeah.
But it's almost like you said, everybody was dissecting everything.
Right.
And there's actually professionals that were like, they have
Yes.
their own
Yeah.
YouTube
Yes.
videos that
Yes.
are like dictating their body language, and how, like you said, somebody trained her and coached her to do certain things. There's people that break that down. Like, normally in certain cases, this is the way you move. This is how you portray. If you have your arms crossed, you're saying something else. The way your eyes move are saying something else. So they're just really dissecting this.
Everything, yeah. How she's breathing.
But like it
They
makes
thought
sense.
They thought she snorted coke.
I saw that too. Yeah.
There was one of those. That
Yeah,
popped
like
up.
what is she sniffing? What's in that tissue? I was like, it's like
That
people,
is so
man.
wild.
Yeah.
But I think people so badly wanted to like for her to lose the case that everybody was just going in deep. Like,
Yeah,
literally.
there was some that were saying comments like "so scripted," or comments like "this woman should be in jail," or even like "I can't stand this liar." That was like the common public consensus of this, I think.
I mean, overall, like I still don't even have a full grasp of what the end result was that you wanted out of this besides money. You know, it's like just to go ahead and ruin somebody's career. Like,
Sure, they ruined.
there was even a part of a case where like there's a phone call, and Johnny's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll say I did it. I'll take the fault. I'll do whatever I need to do." And he was really willing to work with her. So I'm sure if she would have just been like, "Just give me money," he would have just gave her money, and none of this could have happened. Both of them could have still had their careers, and saved everybody a month and a half worth of a trial.
But then no, because in the public eye, he was guilty.
No, this, you know what? I'm going to pause on that one because I don't know if that was after like the allegation started, that phone call.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm not going to say on that, but if it was before the allegations, that's fine, I think.
Because most of the recordings and all of that stuff that ended up being used as evidence was from like before, like when they were together, they would argue, or like when she's
there
like,
was something to that. They were saying that I think they were going through counseling sessions, and they recommended that they record their conversations and listen back to it.
so that's why they
stuff
have
like
a
that.
lot of like recordings, but I don't think it was like after the fact. Like I think
Well, that's what I'm
it
saying.
was-
So if it was before that, then I'm sure he
Yeah.
probably would have given her money just to kind of like call it quits and be done.
yeah,
I think
like
yeah,
to
go
pay
ahead.
her off to like just be done.
Not
Yeah.
pay her off, but like he's like, okay,
No, like I don't want to be with you. Like just leave me alone.
well, I just
Here's
don't
the
want this to
money.
be a bigger deal than what it needs
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, I think in social media's eyes, at least, she came off as scripted, conniving, manipulative, whereas Johnny Depp came off as like kind of this this misunderstood, quirky, romantic, you know, who was just wrongly accused. That's how he came off, right? So it seemed like it was overwhelmingly on Depp's side, but I think there was a lot of good reasons why it was, other than just Depp's fans.
Yeah.
I think because people were dissecting it, and it was like all kind of making sense, I guess.
Yeah.
It kind of did lean that way. But there are people who feel like they're both crazy. I think that's valid too.
I mean, I personally think that they were both in a very toxic relationship, and sad to say, but I mean, if you stay in toxic relationships, I mean, this is where it leads, unfortunately, you know?
Yeah.
So again, too, let that be a lesson to anybody listening. Like, toxic relationships are gonna like end up in some kind of a incident that you don't want it to end up in. So it's just like them, they probably could have just walked away from each other at some point and then called it a day, and they both would have been famous, or at least him, you know?
Yeah. But also, I think to say that Johnny Depp is not crazy is crazy in itself. I mean, the amount of characters this man has played, it has to leave some kind of trace behind.
Well, they were saying that one like psychologist was like not even analyzing or talking to depth when he made his like diagnosis, that it was based off of him watching Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know if you've seen that.
I didn't see that. No.
Okay, it's a weird ass doctor too. He's just like all weird, and like so they were making fun about that because like this guy didn't even talk to Johnny Depp but made a diagnosis that he was like narcissistic or something like that, based off of like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. No.
I mean, again, I don't think he's no angel. Like
True. Yes,
he
true.
most definitely had a drinking problem, and you know, when you drink and you do drugs, like you say off the wall stuff, and I believe that, you know, he must have mistreated her, you know, a time or two, or maybe a couple, but at the end of the day, like she was still the aggressor, like the physical aggressor.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like
Might have been more emotional.
me and my
Johnny's
friend,
side.
right? Me and my friend had like this conversation the other day, and you know, she was like, "Oh, well, what about his text? Like, I guess threats, you know?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I could text you right now and tell you. I mean, I'm not gonna use kill, but that's what I told her, you know. Let's just say stab, or some. I'm gonna smack you or whatever. You know, you just like don't even know what to say these days, you know. But in our particular conversation, I was like, "Well, I can text you right now, and I can tell you, oh, I'm gonna kill you, but I mean, it's a text. Like, doesn't mean I'm gonna go actually do it." In her case, she was actually doing all the physical abuse.
Right.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
so, and again, I'm not defending him. I don't think that he's innocent at all.
Right.
I think that he definitely played his part. And again, when you're in a relationship, I mean, if I'm psycho and I keep acting psycho, you're going to end up acting psycho too, because I
Yeah.
push you and push you and push you to that limit. So
Yeah, at some point maybe that translates into.
yeah, like,
I've seen a lot of relationships where I guess for lack of better terms, the weaker minded person would take on traits of the dominant person.
Yeah, this is true.
You know, like I see like a lot of my friends who are girls get in relationships with guys that are like super right winged, and now they're like super right winged
Oh yeah.
type
yeah.
of thing. So it's
I can
little
get you.
little
Yeah.
traits here and there that you start picking up from your partner.
or like a person can only take so much, and then at the end you snap.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a reality, whether we want to accept it or not. That's just the reality of how things are. Like, you can push my buttons and push them and push them and push them, and I can be as calm and collected as, you know, but then eventually I'm a snap.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
But if you also want to like think about it too, like if you look when Johnny Depp was on the stand, like his demeanor was so calm. And that
It was very consistent.
yeah.
Calm. Yeah. With Amber Heard, you saw changes.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes she'd smile, sometimes she'd try to cry.
or like, yeah,
Yeah.
her freaking fake cries. Like, come on.
Just no tears. Like,
My dog stepped on a bee.
Seriously. Like, it's just, and if you know people that have ever been in any type of situation like that, like, you're going to show emotion.
you're gonna show. Yeah, you're gonna show some real tears.
Whether it was, I mean, I don't know how long ago their situation was, but it was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was,
2016, right?
I think so. I think it's 2016. I think.
okay, so, you know, a couple years ago, I mean, whether it was a couple years ago or last month, it's still going to hurt the same, and you're just going to be emotional about it. Because it's like a scar, like how she would, you know, basically, oh, my whole life changed and all this stuff, and your life does change. But, I mean, you don't lose emotion. Like, it's still going to stay there. You know, it's still going to hurt
Right.
if you really experienced hurt. I'm not trying to say that she never did, but the accusations that she was making just weren't.
You know, I think what's interesting out of all this like circus is, you know, that, you know, between the live stream of like 50 million I was talking about and the people, you know, saying believe women and Johnny Depp fans and all this stuff, like at the bottom line of this story is as old as time. Whether you believe Amber Heard or not, or you whatever, you know, this kind of goes back to like those old fashioned public pillory where instead of stones, you're replacing them with like memes. You know, like that's the way I feel like this has turned into now, where it's the focus is on Amber Heard now, and there's something I think just oddly satisfying about it. Something about watching a woman on the stand get what she like deserves. I
like
guess
back in the Salem trials.
Sort of like that, yeah. Like back in the Salem trials, there's something about this that goes back to like the Middle Ages. That goes back to like stories of like just from like marching her to town square, basically. Like the public's marching her to town square.
Yeah.
That's how it kind of feels like in this situation. Do you guys kind of feel that, or is that
I mean,
just
to me, it's more or less like, I'm glad that the world now knows that you can't make stuff up like that, and you will be held accountable if you lie, and you will be caught. That's what I feel like. Like,
so it
you
is
will be-
satisfying to you.
Yeah, like it's like no, I just think that's the right thing. Like, you know, there's plenty of women out there that sadly they lie about this stuff, and they ruin it for the women that really are saying the truth. And whether we accept it or not, again, the reality is like, to actually press charges on somebody and get to trial, it's like a whole drawn out process. Like, it's not an easy thing that I can just go show up tomorrow and be like, oh, Oscar smacked me and I want to get a restraining order and press charges. Like,
It was a love tap.
like there's so much more that goes into it. And if you're able to get to this point by lying, once you get to trial, they're going to dissect your ass and you will get caught. Like, and everybody's going to see it. So to me, I think like it was the best thing that could have happened in like the, everybody watching, like, you know, I'm glad that it caught so much attention, not like the UK cases or stuff like that. I'm glad it caught a lot of attention because literally everybody was watching. Like, everybody was watching. So for the people out there watching, listening, whatever, like, if you're lying, don't lie. Like, don't ruin it for the people that are real victims. Like, she didn't waste our time because it was entertaining. But, I mean, look at all these years that she's been fighting over trying to prove a point. But your point wasn't even true.
Like, he was saying that she was making, like, lies after lies. Like, it was just unstoppable. Right. You couldn't stop the lies.
Yeah.
They were hearing new instances about, like, her, and I got to be really sensitive with this, you know, and I say this with sensitivity, but she was coming up with the instance where allegedly Johnny Depp had like sexually assaulted her with the bottle, you know, and
what?
Yeah. So there was a point when she was talking about in Australia, I think it was, where they got into an altercation, whatnot, and she allegedly accuses Johnny Depp of like raping her, I guess, like with a bottle and like penetrating her. And so she was saying that story on the stand, you know? So
that is so wild to say.
So they were just saying that like this story kind of came up out of nowhere now, like suddenly there's a story. And so, you know, yeah. So, but Johnny Depp was saying something like to the fact that it's just another like lie after lie to cover up another lie. It's just more and more lies.
To derive the attention from this lie to bring up something new that they have to now look into.
And so Camille Vasquez was really good at like, okay, wait, so Johnny took you with two hands and put you on there, but how was he doing that holding a bottle? So she was trying to break it down and she's trying to catch her slipping, like, oh, you know, he put me on there first and then grabbed the bottle. And so they were like trying to catch her slipping up on like that story.
Right. And you couldn't just break off a one hand grip.
Right.
Like that doesn't make sense. Right. But Camille Vasquez is a beast.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's going to have a star. I mean, for somebody just beginning their career, like, man, she's going to, she came up and showed up.
Yeah. You guys know that she was practicing, I guess, in Santa Ana?
No.
Yeah. Orange County.
Yeah.
No.
Crazy, huh?
Yep.
Right here. Yeah.
Yep.
Good for her.
Yeah, and she's young too. She's like in her early 30s.
And she's just the associate. Like she's not even like another big head.
Oh,
like,
she's a full partner now for sure.
Yeah, she's freaking. She's gonna get her own firm now. She's like, bye.
She for sure does.
Yeah, and she deserves it. Like she was freaking badass.
The way she cooked Amber Heard, it was just
Bro, it was not even
that was
Amber
satisfaction.
Heard. It wasn't even Amber Heard. It was her whole team.
Yeah, for sure.
Like she cooked all of them up.
She did have that girl Emily, I think it is, or Elaine,
the main attorney, right?
Yeah, for Amber Heard. She had her stuck. Like she was just like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
My favorite part, well, not my favorite part, but what I enjoyed was how, you know, Amber Heard had all these like photos of Johnny Depp being like drunk or passed out on the floor, wherever, like all these photos of him, right? So then she says, so you took this photo on so-and-so, yes, whatever, you know? And then so the whole point was, how do you have all these photos of all these things, but yet you don't have photos of yourself? You don't have photos of your, whatever he did to you. Like, you don't have any evidence when it comes to that. But clearly, you like taking photos, don't you, Mrs. Heard? Like, that was badass. I was like, yo.
Or I like how she flipped the cocaine one, because she was like, okay, so this cocaine, you have it laid out here as Johnny, but how come none of it's taken?
Yep.
And you're there. Like, she was kind of insinuating, like,
because the lines were like perfectly cut.
Yeah.
Or also because there was like no residue, or she said something about like, you know what it's like to whatever, and the like on the glass table, the lines are like perfectly cut. And I guess she was saying, you know, Mrs. Heard, that when you basically you're doing coke, like there's gonna be like res or you know, you smeared or whatever. But if you look on that photo, like those are perfectly lines,
set up lines, like no residue.
Like it was like a stage. Like she did that to take the photo to send it to her friend or whatever she was saying.
That's crazy. You buy a pound of cocaine and just set it up yourself. That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah. And then she had caught her saying things like, "Oh, I never did like Molly or something with Johnny Depp," but then she did admit it like on another instance. So there's a lot of like little slip ups like that that happen constantly, I think.
Or also too, she was saying that she used like this brand's makeup.
That was a big one.
Makeup container or something too.
Oh, her bruise kit.
Yeah,
that was that was like one of the first biggest ones that came out.
And then Milano straight up came up and said, "We didn't even make that kit back then." So basically, like, you're lying. It's just like,
and that's what they started off with too.
Like, she got caught lying so many times that it was just like, wow.
It just goes to show you women won't let anything go.
Well, I mean.
I mean.
Okay, so just to go over this trial again, what it's kind of about. So, legally speaking, this was a defamation case in 2018 during the height of the Me Too movement. Ms. Heard, then nearly 2 years divorced from Mr. Depp, wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post in which she alleged herself a public figure representing domestic abuse. That article did not name Mr. Depp, but his lawyers say that it was clearly implicated that she was talking about their client. And that caused him to lose like lucrative deals, acting roles in such films as Pirates of the Caribbean, for example.
I think they took him off the ride.
Oh, damn, I didn't even know that.
I think because I saw a video.
That sucks. Okay.
The Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Yeah.
And at the end, he's like sitting on the throne or whatever. I don't think he's there anymore. I think it's another character.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you think they'll put him back? Like, do you think he'll get much offers
they won't,
after this?
They won't like turn face back to.
No, I think they will.
I don't think so.
But he said that he would deny it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
If they offered him, he would deny it.
That's a boss-ass move.
I would too. But if you think about it, like this whole time I was innocent and you went against me and you removed me and I'm not going to be your moneymaker. Whatever movie he's in next, whatever role he takes, that's going to be the moneymaker.
Yeah. It's gonna make the money.
And I'm sorry, I don't think it should be Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, it shouldn't be. I personally don't think that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Again, so I know I brought this up earlier, the whole Fantastic Beasts, but just wanted to share this. I actually wrote notes on this. So I wanted to make sure. But so for anybody that's into the Harry Potter universe, so shout out to all my nerds. The Fantastic Beasts 3 movie did set a record for the lowest Harry Potter universe movie release, first day opening. And because of that, they aren't even considering making the fourth and final installment of the Fantastic Beasts series.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, so I'm kind of upset about that. So basically,
and it was because they removed him?
Yeah. So, and that's the thing too. It's like, I get you don't want people as a company to be associated with domestic violence or anything negative that can reflect to the company, but you should probably wait for the verdict.
Right. Or they could have like waited to put out their second or third or whatever. Meanwhile, all this was going on. Like, they could have said, hey, you know what? We're going to suspend.
There's a lot of money involved, so that's probably why they didn't suspend it.
I get it, but look at their loss.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, same way it shouldn't be Pirates, it shouldn't be that movie either.
No, I agree. It sucks because he was such a good character in that movie, but it is what it is.
Damn.
Like, his comeback is going to be, like, massive. And everybody's going to go support it. Like, even if you don't even want to watch the movie or, not, like, you're going to go watch it just because you're supporting him. Like, it's going to be massive.
Aquaman. So Johnny Depp was seeking $50 million in damages, and Ms. Heard was countersuing for twice that, claiming defamation because Johnny Depp's lawyer alleged that her claims of sexual abuse was a hoax.
In the final verdict of this trial, what was the verdict? I mean, I know that Johnny won, but I didn't hear the legal terms of it.
I didn't really like that either. I don't like how they did the verdict and how it was kind of weird.
Reading the questionnaire kind of and going down like the line of, do you think she was talking about Johnny Depp, like something to that fact, and they would say yes. Or no,
it was like yes and no's. Like,
but it wasn't like said like, Miss Amber, like, you basically lied this entire time. This is why you lost. It was nothing cut clear like that. Oh, then I don't think they could use that. So she's still gonna sue, and they'll probably bring all this evidence in this case and kind of just relate it to like her not being able to keep her story straight and stuff like that.
Like,
so
I wish they would have been like, Mrs. Heard, whatever, like, you are guilty. Like, that's what a verdict
and
is.
Zoom in on her face.
On her stupid reaction, Like, I wish that it would have been
stepped on a bee.
Like that, like guilty, not guilty, like any verdict has ever been, but it was just yes, no's. Like, I don't even think people realized that was the verdict, because I was watching myself and I was like, okay, get to the point.
Waiting for this big like OJ moment, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't even
get her,
like
handcuff
that.
her and shit.
Yeah, handcuff her, take her to a criminal court.
And then like they even like gave her, so he got, in the end he ended up getting 15 mil, right?
Yeah.
And then she got awarded like 2 or 4.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like what? You guys had us watching just to leave us confused in the end. Yeah. I'm sure to them or to anybody in law, like, it probably makes sense. But I mean, I wanted to hear like guilty. You are guilty of lying, and now you're gonna be guilty. Now,
my God.
because what's the repercussion for that? So you just get to go on the stand and lie under oath.
Well, you
and
should be going to jail, right? That's
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't. So let me go to this just to be clear on this case. It wasn't a criminal trial, so nobody was going to go to jail, and it technically isn't even a domestic abuse case either.
Right.
It's really a case about your First Amendment rights, really.
like a freedom of speech.
Yeah, really, because it's all about Amber Heard retweeting this link to that op-ed that is not mentioning Johnny Depp by name, but you're talking about Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
You know? So it's really kind of surrounding that freedom of speech aspect of this case. So
That makes sense.
But I think anybody watching like probably missed that point.
yeah.
But you're right. It was.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like in the internet world, it doesn't matter. Like we don't care what it's about. Like that's the thing, you know?
If
Yeah.
you're guilty or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But yeah, no, it was like,
Lying bitch. What?
Yeah.
Who said that?
again, like they had us all like freaking tuning in and watching and so interested in this that was going on. But then I didn't really like how the end, like again, moving forward, again, I mean, you're not supposed to, you're under oath regardless if it was, nobody was going to go to jail. You're right. But
She should.
you should go because you're violating, again, you're showing anybody that's going to go to trial that it's okay for you to be under oath and swear and be, questioned, and you can lie and it's okay. Nothing's going to happen to you.
Yeah. It's kind of like watching a movie that had a good ending, but it could have been better.
Yeah, I thought it was whack.
Yeah.
I
I
wasn't
didn't get to see the
satisfied.
ending.
It was weird. Like it was, you didn't even know it was like the ending. Or why wasn't Johnny there? I get it, he was in the UK, but like, bro, like, wait, what? That's why I didn't think it was real. I thought it was like a playback or something.
Yeah. He was at like a concert or something, doing a concert.
I will say this though.
What?
Johnny Depp is going down as the first man in history to ever win an argument against a woman.
Camille won that argument.
Camille did.
But it's like the phase.
They had to like get a Latina
It's like the
to cook
phase.
it.
No,
to
but
get a
she
spicy
like she
Latina to
was
do it.
yeah, she was legit.
If I was Johnny Depp, I would try to date Camille.
She's my crush of the year. She's probably your guys' too, but she's my crush of the year.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, somebody that would go
I
to
mean,
bat for you.
I think brains are hot, and I mean, I don't look at her and think she's attractive, but just how
Cute. She's cute.
I think she's fire. I
Again.
forget both of you.
Again,
I think she's
mainly, but
cute.
personally, like I didn't think she was that attractive, but wow, like just what she did on that stand was like super attractive.
I could also not argue with her ever. She would tear me apart every time we try to argue. I would just she'd tell me to do something, like, yep, I'm doing it. I don't care.
What do you think about the whole conspiracy of, not conspiracy, but the whole thing about people trying to put her or trying to matchmake her and Johnny Depp together?
If anything, like, I see it again more of like somebody who's really going to bat for you, like has your back that heavy. 'Cause I've seen other lawyers, they kind of just use their terminology and bring up evidence, but no, she was like grinding.
For him, yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like he genuinely found the right team that actually took on his case, not for the money, but because they genuinely believed in their client.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times lawyers, take on cases just for the money, and they don't really care who they're defending, whether they know they're innocent or guilty. That's their job. But I think he just really found the right team that genuinely believed him and cared about him and wanted to go in as deep as they could or should to make sure that they,
Yeah, that's major facts, I think. Because it wasn't just Camille, like
No.
Ben Chu as well, and the rest of them all were like, they
Yeah, it
showed
was a
the
solid
same.
team.
Yeah, they showed the same admiration towards him. So
right.
yeah, it was pretty equal.
Camille was just definitely the star of that.
She's just the star though. Of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's because again, that's what the media showed us. So
Right,
we
yeah.
wanted, so we kind of like, but everybody idolized her, like, and again, she did a fabulous job, like,
Yeah, there's
amazing
nothing
job.
you can say about that
Yeah.
woman that she messed up in that trial.
Yeah,
Yeah. So on the other end, with Amber Heard, since this did take off in social media, she received a lot of death threats or just threats in general. There was a lot of negative, things to say, I guess, on Amber Heard. I think threats, obviously, I think it's going way too far with that, but that was a consequence, I guess, of it being made live like that,
Right.
being displayed for everybody to see.
I mean, honestly, nowadays with social media, everybody gets death threats. Like, even if you're just an influencer on Instagram, like you do something wrong or you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, or even yourself as a podcasters, if you say something that, you know, like somebody doesn't like you'll be getting death threats too. You know,
Oh, really?
it's sad
A lot of her listeners on our podcast.
Yeah.
I was scared at one point because they would relay messages to her, and then it just seemed
obviously
like
it wasn't to that level, but
it was like hateful.
But I feel like, you know, people like now, again, because of social media, like things get around so quick, like extremely quick that, I mean, again, I feel like I've heard, you know, YouTubers or influencers get death threats. So of course she was going to get these threats. But think about it. Johnny had gotten these threats way back when she originally started accusing him. So I mean, hey, now it's your turn. And again, it sucks to say that.
I know, that's why I was trying to I was like, I'm saying this, but it sucks that I'm saying this. But
yeah, but I mean, sadly, I mean, he had to go through it. Now you do, because now in the public eye, you're guilty. You lied.
Yeah,
you did it.
I think you could also question though the people that send those death threats, their motives prior. If those death threats were sent prior to this unveiling of this case, the importance they put into Johnny's Depp, like persona, how they were more. This is what I'm thinking. Like they're more interested in just him as an actor rather than like worried about what allegedly he did. So they put that before any kind of domestic abuse.
You know, did you see the what was it called? The campaign that went on social media, Justice for Johnny Depp. That thing spread so quick, like you would have thought it was like a Russian bot or a campaign. Like
that's what I'm saying. Social media is crazy, like, man.
And the way they were even mocking Amber Heard was just, I'm not gonna lie, I thought a lot of them were amusing and funny. The way they were mocking her or reenacting some of the things she was saying, you know, or even like covering up like fake bruises with makeup kits. You know, there was a lot of that going on as well.
Everybody was going in, like, for the last however many weeks it was, like every social media platform was going in hard. Like, it was.
And then on the other side of that, I think, you know, this also has brought together men's rights activists. You know, have you guys seen where instead of Me Too, they put Men Too?
Well, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, I think that was the whole point, to you know, let men know that it's okay to come forward, that it's okay to speak about it, you know, because like how he mentioned earlier, men aren't going to speak about it. Or, you know, I think we grow up and, you know, in our heads, we think like, oh, men are supposed to be strong and whatever. Like, you know, like you can't complain or you take it, or like how he said, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
The point is, like, again, it's what's done is done. It doesn't change the fact that I'm a woman and you're a male. Like,
yeah, I think there was a sense of that I got just from like a couple of like TikTok. I watch these TikTok motivations from time to time, and I think there was something that Chris Rock said, I think, where he was saying something about like women, they're loved unconditionally, or they'll be loved for just being them, or, you know, even like
I know exactly what you're talking
pets will be loved for being them, but like for a guy, he's loved conditionally. Like if he's not doing shit, he's not just going to be loved just for being him.
What he says,
like just, I don't know, I'm not phrasing it quite right.
Yeah.
But
No, at
something
the end,
to the fact.
At the end, he says men are loved under condition.
but
That's what he said.
But so are women. Like, that could, honestly,
Here we go.
Times-
bullshit.
This is the shit I'm doing. This is the
times
shit I'm
have
doing.
changed. Like, once upon a time in the old school days, men were always right, right?
Jess just said stop playing violin for ourselves.
No, like,
No,
I
for
feel
real.
like
She's like this, holding
women
the
are
smallest
too. Like,
violin.
women are loved under condition as well. Like,
I don't know if that's true.
yes, because men have this expectation, like women have to do that again, because we were trained that way. We were brought up that way to think like, oh, men have to cook and clean and have sex with their husbands and all of that type of stuff, you know. But then in reality, again, we're loved under condition because God forbid we don't do that. What happens then?
I don't think a man stops doing anything for a woman. It's just those expectations are still there, but we don't stop.
Well, who was the comedian? There was a comedian that put this in he used to be on Dave Chappelle, a white guy. Starts with the Bill, yeah, something. I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, I'm gonna hate myself later. But
Bill Murr.
There you go. Bill Murr. Have you ever heard this, Jess? Where Bill Murr says a joke where he's like, they always talk about equality, this and that, between men and women. And he goes, but man, he goes, well, the other day I went to go watch Titanic or something. I don't know. He said he watched Titanic at home or something. He goes, man, Titanic was a horror film for men. He goes, why? He goes, okay, my wife was telling me, why do I get paid more, blah, blah. He goes, the same reason that I'm left on the boat while you and my kids are leaving the Titanic and I have to sit there while this Titanic ship crashes or whatever. So like in that sense, there is some sort of thing to that, if we're being honest with ourselves, but I don't know. So I don't know where I was going with that. But,
to be fair, Rose could have scooted over. She could have let Jack on the door.
Well, I'm going to say this. Leonardo DiCaprio was asked. He said no comment, so I can't say anything. If he said no comment, then I'm like, all right, well, you said it. So
I just think we're living in different times. Like, it's different times. Like, sadly, like how you said, some back in the days, mostly all men got paid more. Now, some women get paid way more than these men. And that's just how it is. Or women are hustlers. Like, they're always trying to have more and make more. And again, it's not like how it was before. Men made more, so they were able to like kind of down talk women, if we're being honest. But then now, again, it's just like different times. Like,
definitely different times. I do agree with that. I think there has been a social shift that has occurred where women have been more taking the step forward, I guess, over men, even on certain things, even in business or in sports, whatever it be. And to me, that's cool. To me, that's really cool. And in some ways, I think that should be the way it is too. Like, if you're good, you're freaking good.
Yeah,
like, that's what it is.
I agree.
Yeah.
So,
like, there's even like stay-at-home dads now. When would you hear that back in the 1800s? Like, it wasn't, oh, God forbid, no, only women did that. It's like they had to do that. Women couldn't work and all that stuff. And then now,
that's goals.
Literally, if the woman makes more, it's okay for the husband to stay home and be like the stay-at-home dad. Why does it have to be the woman? There's women that literally want to work. They are, and then there's women that want to stay home and be the stay-at-home mom. Like,
true.
It shouldn't matter if you're a male or female. Like, whoever, if one party makes more and they make enough to, support the household, and it's okay, then, dude, stay home. Like, but then God forbid you're the dad staying home and you hang out with all your bros that work, and, now that guys look down upon. Why?
I probably hang out with like all the stay-at-home moms. Change recipes and laundry detergent.
But again, like, God forbid, like, oh, you're freaking lazy. You don't do anything. You stay at home and you have your wife working. Like, it's not even like that. It's like nowadays, no one's happy.
No.
Yeah,
no, really.
True.
Like,
that's true. Well, because I think of too, like another kind of, in the social sphere, when you see Will Smith, I saw, somebody who, people looked at them as this power couple. They looked at Will Smith as, this leader of his home. But then you have the incident that happened where the Red Table Talk, and Jada's talking to him. It did come off, like, Will came off to me as like he was almost emasculated in some senses, because, and this I think is a public opinion as well, that he kind of let her off the hook and didn't really go for a Cena, and kind of allowed this to happen. But then he takes it out on Chris Rock. So, like, in a sense, I see a fall of somebody who was so strong at first and now, like, seems weak.
Do you think that he was really taking it out on him, or do you think that the reason why he smacked him was for a whole different reason?
Well, there for sure is history with Chris Rock and their family. That's for sure. So maybe multiple factors there.
Right.
Or
because he had to kind of like show up and show out, because
I think that was an element to it as well. For sure, the trigger was his wife Jada looking at him. That for sure was a trigger.
Like, are you gonna let
Yeah.
And talk about me like
For
that.
sure that was. That had
But
to be.
if she can take a dick, she can take a joke. Like, I'm just not understanding why that was even necessary.
I don't think it was necessary, like in the public eye. I think that if you had something to say, you could have pulled them aside and said, "Hey, bro, like, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. Don't be talking about my wife like that. Like, handle it between two grown ass men, but not. You didn't. There was no need. It was not the time or the place to do that. Like, the whole world was watching.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But people, I think, were also like comparing her to movies that also, like for example, I think there was a comparison made to her to Fatal Attraction. Have you guys watched that movie at all?
I know it's an older movie, and
Yeah,
I've
it's an older
probably
movie.
seen it, but
Yeah,
I don't remember.
older movie, but it does deal with a lover who shows aggression, and so they're like relating it to her basically. And I think it's interesting how like we see these tropes come out of like scorned women who take revenge much more further than the regular course of action, where they start to get very aggressive and sometimes it's dramatized and made even worse. So she falls into this like trope of stereotypes that I think we've seen commonly in movies, and they played to these themes. I think Depp's team was very smart in doing this, but they like played to these themes of her like being this lying woman, or being this mistress who would invite or entice men to come to her apartment at all hours of the night. They played to these themes to portray a picture of something we are actually familiar with subliminally.
Right.
Of this like, I don't know, like lying bitch. Like that's pretty much kind of what they did, or a tactic they used.
Yeah. No, but it makes sense. I mean, I'm obviously they had to go through every detail and to really try to put pieces together so that they have concrete statements to give to her. So yeah, I mean, it definitely played into that. That's
In
what
other
kind
words,
of
if you ever need a badass lawyer, you know where your team is at.
man.
Because yeah, no, but I think that, I mean, again, no relationship is perfect, and in relationships, I mean, somebody always shows aggression. It just kind of boils down to, do you know how to handle yourself, and how far are you going to take it? Because again, no relationship is perfect. I mean, I know people that have been together for months and years and centuries, like, and I mean, aggression, we're human, there's triggers, there's things that are going to piss you off. And, people, like, we shouldn't be like, that shouldn't be frowned upon. I think it's okay to show like emotion, maybe not like aggression, like physically and stuff like that. But again, nobody's relationship is perfect. And in their particular situation, like, they both showed tons of aggression that they were no good for each other. They should have just called it a day. Like, but again, I don't think that like there's no relationship out there that has always been like rainbows and butterflies, like.
Yeah, you're gonna have your
Moments of-
challenges and disagreements. There's gonna be arguments, things you have to work through as well. But anytime it crosses the line of anything physical, for me, that's no.
Yeah.
You guys, is it the same thing?
Or like how you said that, people were saying that she ruined it for like the real victims out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's spot on, because there's people out there that really are like real victims. Not to say she's not a victim. I'm not saying that she didn't. I'm sure he put her through some stuff, but
she has been made into this like poster child now, though, of like that train wreck, woman who's crazy and lying and manipulative and conniving,
And again, when it comes to like the real victims, like, I mean, they shouldn't be painted like that as well. Just because this woman decided to get on the stand and lie about it, like, it shouldn't be. She, in a sense, I mean, she did kind of ruin it for people moving forward. But again, I mean, if you're a victim and you know that your story is true and only you know what you went through, and at the end of the day, like, nobody deserves to go through that, because it does really change your life significantly. However, she was probably the worst example to kind of, you know, like she.
Yes, poster child, like I said,
Yeah.
the worst case example
Yeah.
of this. I think, see, I have a little different opinion, slightly different from yours. I think that it doesn't ruin it per se. I think it does help more draw the fine line between believe like all women to as long as you're saying the truth, that's the key thing that matters. I think.
Right.
So I think the truth will ultimately win, you know, but I can see how women could be steered away just because of this though. They could be steered away from it, but I think it also corrects those who falsely accuse as well, because they'll be like, I don't want to jump in that lane.
Right.
Unless you just get a better team.
I think it should be believe everyone. Like, don't just believe women. Believe everyone. Like, for real. You could be saying the truth. Like, your woman could be freaking beating your ass every night. And no one's going to believe you. Why? Just because you're a male? Like, no, it should be believe everybody. And again, I'm a woman myself. And, you know, women's rights and all this stuff. And people are probably going to come for me. And that's fine. But I think it's believe everyone. Like, there
She
should
abuses me on my podcast.
it should be no, like, you know, it should be believe everyone, not just women, like men too. And this was a
Prime example.
Exactly.
So I think what Heard, Depp's team did a good job at portraying her as unstable, hysterical, a gold digger.
Yeah.
They portrayed that as well because she had all her friends living at his houses. She was getting lucrative deals like Aquaman because of him, the association.
She
a
was-
temptress.
She was so mad when Camille told her, you got the role on Aquaman because of Johnny, right? Like,
I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't see that.
This was like
Yeah.
the best of Camille because she was just like, you got that because of Johnny Depp, right? And she's like, excuse me?
yeah.
And she goes, you heard me. You got that because of Johnny Depp, right?
Objection,
Slow.
Your Honor.
Super slow.
Yeah.
It was like
Super
that.
burn.
Super burn. She was also being portrayed as a temptress. I think I went over that because she was bringing, you know, people over. She was it was portraying her as taking advantage of Johnny Depp, you know, of his money, of his fame, of his power, and she came off as this like untrustworthy liar. Go.
Oh, no, I just thought about something, or how they were saying like that he had such a bad drinking problem that like his tab, like for like he would spend like $40,000 a month on booze and stuff. But I mean, they didn't
Oh yeah. they did
share
throw
that, you know, the particular wine that she used to drink was like $3,000-$4,000 a bottle, and she used
Yes.
to drink up to 2 bottles a night. So in all reality, again, it's like they were trying to paint him like to be like this
$6,000 a night.
alcoholic. Yeah, that's why his tab was so.
That's how baller this fool is.
That's why his
Man.
tab was so high.
Camille
you know?
would never do that.
No, but I just had that thought right now where they were trying to paint him to be like, oh, you have such a drinking problem, which again, I believe he did have a drinking problem, but it wasn't just him for himself. Like he
Right.
was taking care of his girl, and same thing. Like her friends would come over and drink the booze and all this stuff, and again,
He would love her unconditionally.
$2,000, $3,000, $4,000 bottles, and they were popping them like nothing. But at the end of the day, it was his bill, so
Yeah.
he's the alcoholic. Like,
This kind of goes into what I was telling you guys earlier before the show. Like this is almost pornographic, you know. And I say that because we're talking about things that are very. It's almost like, you know, when I say pornographic, like when you watch something, you kind of gain this sexual pleasure from it. And with that, I mean is like you're seeing all these like kinks of fame, beauty, drugs, extreme wealth. You know, you talk about a private island in here. There's 5 penthouse apartments, fecal matter, bloody messages written on walls, even an appearance of Elon Musk in the talks of this, because she dated him for a short time. And then
and I bet nobody would have even like put that 2 and 2 together if it weren't. for
nobody
this.
would have put
Yeah.
that 2 and 2
Yeah.
together. And also like Saturday Night Live, I think they made a sketch on this that just like encaptures all this. And they said something like a line that said, and I think it was portraying the judge. She said, "Boy, this is fun to watch because it is. It's like all this stuff is going, all this drama stuff. You're watching a high profile, powerful man entangled with this crazy ass lying bitch, and like he's like trying to sort out this issue all for everybody to see." And I think it makes it entertaining to watch because you have all these elements to it. You have the power, the money, the fame, the beauty, the drugs, like all of it. And it's a mess. It's a crazy ass mess that we're watching, but it's almost, like I said, pornographic in the way that we get this pleasure of seeing like what's going on, like what did the message say, or she did what? She shit on your bed? Like, damn. Like,
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of elements into the whole case that you're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did what? She did what?
But then, like, when the whole bottle thing, like, whoa, that was going overboard already. Like, and granted, there is some psychopathic people out there that would do some stuff like that. But now that accusation, you just went way overboard. Like, you took it to a place it did not need to go. Like, why?
Yeah, that was a super crazy story. Of
So
that.
again, good for him for coming forward and like setting the record straight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious to know what's his next move after this.
I think it's going to be, well, I'm sure he's going to go through that trial, but I think he's going to get some deals. I think he's going to get a deal, and it's going to be a big blow up because, everybody realizes what this man had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll make a movie out of it.
Too soon, I think, still. But they would, I think.
They probably would.
Yeah.
Nah, because then she would have to get paid from it. Just kidding.
Yeah, Jess is good. She thinks, who's getting the money out of all this?
Well, it's going to be their story, so she would have to,
Yeah, she'd probably have to sign off on that.
Mm-hmm. Then again, it will be like, well, I owe you 10 mil, so if I sign this contract...
Whatever they pay me, I'm giving you 10 mil off of that.
It would be a bestseller, like all the people watching.
It really would. It would.
They would have to make it extra dramatic, though.
Well, all they would have to use is all of their crap that the story that they told. Yeah.
No, but you can just exaggerate it a little bit.
You know what's crazy? That they were able to pull up so much evidence from something that happened like so long ago. It's kind of like it was like they were preparing since way back when, because how did this team pull up so much evidence, like on both sides, not just his, like on both sides? How did you guys get all? But then again, when you're in the public eye, I mean, we can go and search for it too, but they pulled up like
a lot. The text messages, there were some crazy things that fool said. He just claimed it. Was like, yeah, I said that. I was like,
well, I mean, shit.
Bruh. So, tons of stuff. I think, out of this, with Amber Heard, she got of course, she's become this, like I was telling you guys earlier, she has now taken the stand, and we're watching this this trial proceed, and she's coming out to be this lying woman who is conniving, manipulative, all that stuff. But it also goes back to, like I was saying, to that person in your high school who was like Miss Popular, like you kind of wanted to see her get what she deserved. It was like kind of one of those things. Like she was Eve, she was Medusa, like she was Macbeth. She was that woman to us. Like we were painting her to be this person who was basically taking the punishment. She was the wicked stepmother, she was invoking witch, like you said, the witch trials, like that.
But I'm glad that all happened because of her own fault. Like she brought it upon herself.
Yeah, if she was telling the truth, she would have been fine.
Exactly. Like you brought it upon yourself. Like no one made these things up. Like you brought this upon yourself. Like you were the laughingstock of all social media platforms because of your actions. Like let that be a lesson that your actions will. That's what happens. Like,
but not all popular kids were bad. I was a good popular kid.
Well, see, there's the exception.
Yeah, I was nice. I was a nice guy.
That's the theme of this too. We're heading to that point. What's also interesting is the backdrop beyond the court case. I was talking to Oscar earlier, and I was letting her know that there was there was a person by the name of Mario Batali. He was one of like the several like prominent Me Too movement cases that got called out. And so he was accused of like sexually abusing a woman or groping a woman in a restaurant in Boston. And so recently, just last month, they found him not guilty for that. Right. So that's in the backdrop of this. Also, Bill Cosby, he's out of jail on a legal loophole.
Really?
And there's also rumors that the conviction of Harvey Weinstein, the one who like basically started the Me Too movement from him being called out, there's a rumor that his whole trial or case could be overturned on an appeal. So
let me guess, everybody hired Camille. Just kidding.
That would be the advice to take, hire Camille. But it's crazy that this is all in the backdrop of this court case happening. And so I think it comes back to like the Me Too movement, right? It comes back to this because, you know, that movement started on the belief of believe women, because it was so rare for a woman to come out and tell her truth about an alleged abuse that happened to her. So it was underscoring that believe women when they come out like that, because it's really rare that they do. And so believe them, right? But over time, it's somehow morphed into believe all women, you know? And so we saw accusations coming out like crazy, you know, claiming everybody, you know, was sexually abusive or groping. You didn't know who was going to be called out. I think Kevin Hart or some random people like were just called out of nowhere. They're like, oh shit. So it turned into believe all women and left no room for an outlier, no room for an exception. But I think now, you know, Chris Rock, he said it best. He said that now it's like believe all women except for Amber Heard. And he couldn't be more on the nail with this, I think, because Amber Heard has become that underlier now where believe women, you know, even believe, like you said, believe everyone that comes out, really. And I think except for Amber Heard, that means like if you're lying, you're obviously not going to be believed. Like
no one's ever going to take you serious.
You're going to be the one who cried wolf. Like,
right. We're
not going to take you serious. So don't be Amber Heard, because if you are, you're going to be the laughing stock. You know, we're going to want to see you crash and burn. And I think Amber Heard has become that. She's become the poster child, that example of, if you're lying.
If you're lying, this is what you look like.
Yeah. And so I think that's kind of what I get from this, you know, from all this Me Too movement after several years of that coming out. And, you know, it's had its criticisms, you know, for sure. People have criticized it like, believe all women? Can we really believe all women? Well, I think now this has put that clarification or that connotation to this is like, yeah, but not Amber Heard. Not somebody who's lying to us,
right.
You know?
Then again, because we live in such strange times, like we all know what a grope is, right? Like a real grope. You know, you can go like that and be like, oh, you groped me.
Okay.
That's fine. You know what I mean? Like it's like, again, like that everybody knows that's not a grope. But again, you're ruining it for the people that actually really do get groped. You're actually ruining it for people that are saying the truth. So it's just like, again, we live in these times where people take things for what they're not, and they accuse people just out of anger towards them. Or like, let's just say I was dating him and we got into this huge argument or whatever. I'm mad at him. I'm the bitter ex. So I'm going to go accuse him of something. Like, what if I was like, I don't know, I enjoyed, like she brought up the whole bottle thing. I mean, bad example, but there's people out there that might like stuff like that. And you're that type of person that likes stuff like that. Now you're going to go accuse this person of doing that because you're upset with them. You're the bitter ex. You're trying to you want to see them go down just for that satisfaction.
Financially defaming them, all like you
Exactly.
want to see them go down.
Exactly. So it's like like, how do we kind of separate the two? Like,
How do you split the hairs from
Yeah,
somebody who's
that's telling-
legit and somebody who's just trying to like get back at somebody?
because there's ugly ass people out there. They will make up stuff just to bring you down because they want that satisfaction. And sometimes you don't even have to like necessarily physically hit them. It can just be a jealous ex that's bitter because that person didn't want to be with them anymore. And it's like, you're going to go down. And again, because they're a woman, it's that much easier to bring down that person because believe women.
Right.
But it's like, no, believe everybody.
Look at Johnny Depp. He said that it was almost flip-flopped where it wasn't you're innocent to proven guilty. He said it flipped on him. It was basically you're guilty until you're proven innocent.
Right.
Once that came out, there was nothing he could say or do to reverse that effect of him losing these lucrative deals and everything he was getting.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying earlier. You know, for the big companies, should probably wait for the verdict before pulling anything.
Or like how she was saying, like, oh, my daughter, like basically my daughter's going to grow up. Well, think about what you did to him and his kids.
Right.
Like you did all of this for years and years and years. And now she probably started freaking out thinking, holy crap. Or she started getting these threats, etc. That, you know, now you're thinking about that, but yet you didn't think about that when you accused him of doing X, Y, and Z. Like,
And she couldn't take accountability for almost nothing.
Nope.
No, nothing.
She didn't want to take accountability for nothing. So
She tried to reword everything.
in a different way, hoping that people would understand it differently.
right.
Like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So I am happy that Johnny Depp won the case, the trial. Good for him. And I'm sorry for all those that, you know, who had a real abuse thing happen that Amber Heard might have now made it a little bit more difficult. But in some senses, I think that she has at least, if I could take any positive from this, is I think she has at least demonstrated, you know, it's not good to come out lying because you're going to be caught and you're going to look dumb, which is what happened to her. So, yeah, thank you guys for talking with me through this trial. There was a lot to really dissect in there, and I feel like we got through a good, at least the important chunks to take away from this.
Right.
I think we got through. So I appreciate you guys. I want to see if you guys can plug in your guys' shit and let people know where they can find you.
Jess is usually the handler of
I
letting
haven't
people
said
know.
it in so long. Let me see. If you guys want to find us, you can find us on Spotify or any podcast streaming app.
Yeah, pretty much.
You
But
can look us
big
up.
ones is like Spotify and Apple.
Yeah. At A Perfect Mess Pod.
Are you confused right now?
Yeah, I am because I haven't said it in a while.
Yes, you can find us at A Perfect Mess. It's just A Perfect Mess. If you want to follow us on social media, it's at A Perfect Mess Pod on Instagram, Perfect Mess Pod on Twitter, and then we have a TikTok, which is _ at A Perfect Mess Pod.
Right.
And if you ever want to be a guest on our show, just send us an email at perfectmesspod@yahoo.com.
Nice. I'll try to make sure I put your Eliza's links in there too for you guys too.
Yeah, we'll send
That way
them
you
over
guys
to you.
could just click the links in wherever you're watching the podcast. You can click the links below. All right. So thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care and good night.
Peace out.
Bye, guys.